Hi guys and welcome back to Tommy's Starcraft. This is your host Tommy with another great Starcraft Remastered replay for you guys. This time a game of course between two legends of this game. I'm sure that you know who these two persons are if you're relatively known to the Starcraft scene. Let me just start by introducing them to you. Spawning here in the brown, it is of course Flash, considered to be the greatest gamer of Starcraft. And his opponent of course here at the 5 o'clock position, it's JAEDONG. So both players of South Korea of course. This game has not been played in 2021, as you guys know both of them are actually serving now in the South Korean army, and it is obligatory to do this. But nevertheless, it is of course a game between Flash and JAEDONG, and I don't really think it matters when exactly this game has been played, as these two are considered to be indeed the greatest gamers of Starcraft, of this game. Now let's just see what's going to happen here. As you can see from the timer, it is a very long game. It surpasses the 30-minute mark. A greatly macro-orientated game of course. I did watch the replay a little bit, but I can tell you this, until the end of the game I still had no idea who would actually win this game. So a very close game. I'm not going to spoil of course anything for you guys. So let's just start and see what these two gamers are up to. Flash once again building his supply depot very close here to his mineral line, as he wishes to protect his SCVs. Follows up here with a barracks, so pretty standard gameplay, no cheese in the middle of the map or anything, no barracks around here. JAEDONG sending out of course his first drone to expand, and the second drone to explore the map to see where exactly Flash is hiding, where his base is being placed. At the same time, Flash also moves out here with his SCVs. So around the 1 minute and 30-second mark, both players decide to move out. Very interesting to know when this move out is going to happen indeed. JAEDONG, luckily for him, he is going to make it through. His overlord of course spots this SCV now. He's going to place himself probably around the middle of the map. The drone starts to be annoying of course. So pretty standard gameplay here by both players. Let's have a look at the base of JAEDONG. There is of course a spawning pool being produced with an expansion. Drone tried to do some damage here to this SCV, but SCV very tanky, fights it back. And is he also going to expand here? Let's see what Flash's decision is going to be. First Marine also pops out, and this also looks like a fast expansion here for Flash indeed. So both players on a fast expansion strategy, but there's also an interesting macro hatch here for JAEDONG. Let's have a look. Yes, indeed a macro hatch. Flash of course sees everything with his SCV. First Zerglings are also probably being produced. No, JAEDONG is still droning up and goes for his gas. Two Marines already pop up. Perhaps Flash is going to build a bunker here just to secure his expansion. This overall is nicely placed here and on the middle of the map, just to have as much map awareness as possible of course here for JAEDONG. Let's have a look at the workers. There's currently 24 Flash and 15 for JAEDONG, as this SCV once again is being targeted here by JAEDONG. JAEDONG of course wants to get rid of this SCV as fast as possible, as he might try to do a upgrade for his main into a layer, probably later going for mutalisk or lurker. So let's just see what his plan is going to be. Flash still pops out here more and more Marines. Some SCVs are being transferred. There is an engineering bay being constructed of course, as this expansion is finally ready, and most players are currently mining from it, as the worker count is very balanced, 22 to 19. Oh, and look at that, JAEDONG is actually hiding his tier 2, so he's not if there is scan is coming here from the Terran, as Terran of course like to scan the main of your base, he's still going to see a hatchery. So this is a nice trick. If you're a Zerg player, you can hide in exclamation mark your tier 2 upgrade here, as the Terran might not expect this. So really cool stuff here by JAEDONG. Once again sends out here his Zergling. The Zergling is of course here just to spot any army move out here by Flash. Did I just say Flash? I'm very sorry about that. The bunker is ready of course, so Flash securing here his expansion. No army move out yet. Probably he's going to go into more marines, maybe some medics, let's just see. Academy is also being produced. Of course you really need stim for your marines. As JAEDONG just sent some, once again, a couple of Zerglings here. Like I told you guys, he really wants to just know when exactly, what exactly is Flash up to. Is he going to do a rush? Is he going to send out any army? But nothing out of this. Flash is just a very nice block here by Flash with this line here of marines, making sure that no Zergling is going to enter here in his main. The Zerglings could of course walk this way and kill some SCVs, but there is of course a bunker filled with marines, so pretty cool strategy here by Flash, just blocking here any entries. Really nice. These marines are very lucky on hold position. In comes JAEDONG, however, two Zerglings might make their way through. No, he decides to pull back, as once again the Terran is upgrading of course into comsat station for that scan. So Flash of course not being able to move out here with any SCVs, any army, so he's relying on his scan. And let's just see. Look at that, a spire nicely hidden here from JAEDONG. Once again a good position here for him. So in case Flash is scanning the main and probably the expansion, he's just not going to see the spire, as the spire is greatly hidden here by JAEDONG, and we might see some mutalisk. Indeed, some mutalisk are being produced. But Flash with a huge mistake, sorry about that, I missed this. S6 Zerglings are making their move in and they're going straight for that turret. So he really wants to deny any anti-air, as he's going to come with some mutalisk later on in the game. Flash of course will hold this, but you never want to have so many Zerglings in your main at the beginning of the game. In come the first mutalisk, I can see them up on the map. I think there's 6, no, there's actually 9 mutalisk already here for JAEDONG. Flash is prepared to sally on for him, only 2 turrets, he has to pull some marines back. Marines of course good counter against mutalisk, but you also need some medics for those marines. 1 turret is being taken out, 1 SCVs, another SCVs are being taken out. So really nice gameplay here by JAEDONG, already dealing so much economic damage here for Flash. Flash in a little bit of trouble. Of course his turrets will kill 1 or 2 mutalisk here. Actually 1 mutalisk is being taken out, but you never want to have so many mutalisk at a 7-minute mark in your main. It's really annoying and hard to deal with. Let's just have a look. Flash just moves his marines up and down, just tries to find out where JAEDONG is going to make his next move. JAEDONG also expanding here at the 2 o'clock position at the upper right part. Really nice stuff. So these mutalisks are going to buy him some time just to expand and drone up a little bit more. Many turrets now here for Flash, actually just 2 here and 2 here. 2 also protecting his production building. Flash is moving out, he probably did scan this position here, so he wants to get rid of that as quickly as possible. JAEDONG has to regroup of course. Some hydras are being now placed here. JAEDONG really great on his timing with those lurkers. The lurkers are of course great counter to a mass bio push here by Flash. Remember, Flash only has scan as a detection here against lurkers. There are no science vessel, at least I don't see a starport. No, there is no starport. So Flash decides to move out here without any detection. I'm sure that he also considers the fact that JAEDONG has lurkers, and indeed there are lurkers here, and this nice choke point here, they can deal so much splash damage to the Terran army. Let's see the follow up here. Flash is moving out now. Actually considers to go for the main of JAEDONG, strangely enough, so he decides to ignore that expansion, stims up once again, moves out here to the expansion, but there are of course lurkers once again and 3 sunkens, so it's going to be very hard for him to bust here through. At the same time JAEDONG decides to move out with his mutalisk just to try to buy himself some time, maybe force a pullback here by Flash. Let's just see the follow up here. Still so many stimmed marines here in the back. So JAEDONG, it would be very hard for him to deal some damage here. Perhaps here, if he flies around here at the back, he might have a chance. As these turrets might not, but there are marines here of course. So no, very hard for him to do any damage here against Flash. Look at that, Flash uses this small gap here, small street, as he is able to push this mutalisk back, but at the same time his army cannot move out. Remember guys, there is no detection here against this lurker, so it's going to be very hard for him. I guess he's still waiting here for his science vessel, but there are no... oh, there it is. Finally the first science vessel is being produced. Really needed science vessel against the Zerg. Notice that he also has decided to split his troops here. He's not clumping them together in a small group, because lurkers will deal so much damage. They're also on hold position. Of course you can't just bust here through, as there's so many lurkers here, so he really needs that science vessel. JAEDONG of course greatly here in the middle of the map, tries to kill as many reinforcements here for Flash, but Flash is moving out with a great force, and with these two tanks are very important here for him. Once again JAEDONG is trying to do so much damage against those reinforcements. In comes the siege tank with some scan, and the timing push is really great that the science vessel will also make its way here. Let's just see if JAEDONG has anything anti-air. Maybe he has some scourges prepared here. See the follow-up here. Siege tanks are of course sieging up. There might be a scan, there might be a science vessel. I don't see that science vessel. Would it be? Yeah, there it is. So science vessel will of course be very helpful here. These tanks will take out so many lurkers. Here we go, in comes the engagement. JAEDONG has to pull back to the sunkens. And once again borrow, but at the same time look at that. There's 3 lurkers here doing so much splash damage here. Such a great move here by JAEDONG, denying that reinforcements here for Flash. Flash irradiating now that Defiler, so that Defiler with Dark Swarm, very good option here for the Zerg. This science vessel of course so much important, but at the same time the Dark Swarm with those lurkers are now going for those tanks. Another Dark Swarm is going out. Flash needs to retreat a little bit out of its Dark Swarm, as it protects the Zerg units. So a great counter here by Flash. Flash is countering those lurkers of course greatly with that science vessel. At the same time JAEDONG is countering his bio push with those tanks, with those defilers. Outstanding game here by both players. As we close in on the 13-minute marks, Flash is not able to bust here through, of course. Dark Swarm very good for defending and even for attacking. The small group has been here forgotten here by Flash. He's teaming up, might kill a lurker or 2, look at that. What a strange engagement here, he kills even 2 lurkers here. Really good stuff by him. Once again we have those defilers here. With that probably there is a Nidus network here, a Nidus worm, there it is. So really nice stuff here once again by JAEDONG, showing us the importance of Nidus worm as well. This is also being held here by JAEDONG as he pushes back Flash with that Dark Swarm. Flash of course tries to kill as many defilers as possible with that irradiance. Irradiance of course very important against defilers. But the important thing here for JAEDONG is that he holds, not only that he holds, but he decides to expand here as well. Flash of course expanding now with his Surge, so a small economic advantage here by JAEDONG, even though he's only at 46 workers against 55. It's a 3 base Terran versus a 4 base Zerg. More lurkers are being produced, of course. Lurkers, the best counter to a mass bio push thanks to their splash damage. Flash is going to lose this small army here, of course. Let's just have a look at the upgrades. There's 1 to 0 upgrades here for JAEDONG, and Flash at 1-2. So Flash really showing us the importance of the upgrades here, as he finds a nice abusive point here just to deal damage with that siege tank with those marines. These lurkers of course are being able to reach these marines. In come the mutalisk. The mutalisk will very likely deal so much damage, I might even clear this small group here with some nice micro indeed, but now there's irradiance. Great stuff here, and sadly for JAEDONG there was just no escape for him here as he loses this mutalisk. That tank is still alive, a very important tank here, but there are still lurkers not being detected here, as I see a move out here by Flash. Flash is going to, of course, he wants to deny as much more expansions here for JAEDONG. JAEDONG at the same time with lurkers and Zergling pushes here through. more and more Zerglings that we have. Flash at 163 supply versus 125. JAEDONG losing those Zerglings, but the real damage dealer are of course these lurkers. Bird here killing that group. Plague is going on. Plague of course another great spell. Look at the small HP here, only 3 HP for those Marines. So Defilers are really needed unit if you are against Zerg. These Zerglings will of course kill this group as they were so much hurt for that plague. The Radiance once again going out against those lurkers here. Flash needs to be careful here, there's still so many lurkers, but then come the Scourge. Scourge could deal so much splash damage here against those science vessels, but Flash is very protective and saves this science vessel. 1 or 2 are being of course killed. Flash still holding here this position. Once again makes his moves here. Tries to irradiate as much as many units as possible. Look at that. Well, let's just see the follow-up here. Those lurkers will of course kill. Careful with those Scourge. Scourge are killing 1 and 2 as science vessel. More and more Scourge are coming in. Sadly for Flash, he's losing so many science vessels. He decides to pull back to his main force here, and maybe he's going to go for a kill here. But once again, this Defiler with that Dark Swarm is probably going to hold. There's not that much energy now on this Defiler. So let's just have a look. Plague once again. Oh, this is why he didn't have the energy as he used Plague, and because that JAEDONG is able to clear this with just a small group of mutalisk, but Flash says had enough. He's just pushing through, go straight for those drones, go straight for this hatchery. Towards 3 lurkers are being able here to pull down. More lurkers are coming in. Flash is going to lose very likely this army, but he did the damage. He did kill that hatchery, so nice job for him. But with some expensive losses indeed. Look at all of a sudden the supply has dropped for him, so very balanced game like I told you guys. As we slowly but steadily move here through the 20-minute mark. Upgraded Zerglings, let's just see 2-to-1 speed upgrade, and of course Berserk of, well, 0-0 only upgrades here for the tanks. Very strange enough, as Flash is giving more importance to his Marines as they are 1-to-3 upgraded. Flash of course also decides here to expand at this position, as all of the map, only this position and this position is not being currently mined out. This of course also not. Dark Swarm once again, and Plague. Very great usage here by JAEDONG. So much damage here being dealt, and at the same time so much protection for his units. And look at that, he just plagues here the upper ground and then just flies 3 or 5 mutalisks here just to deal the damage. So much more medics are being needed now of course to just deal that mass healing. Scourge try to get a connection here against the science vessels. So very balanced game like I told you guys. Flash is being able to kill some Scourge. He has to protect this science vessel. And look at that, it's so funny. This Scourge were straight at very close to this science vessel, but are not being able to take it out. Let's just see the next move here by Flash. Flash is going to try busting. He has to irradiate as many lurkers as possible, of course. But there's just so many lurkers in there clumped together so nicely. Another Plague is going out. So really out of the ordinary. Great gameplay here by JAEDONG with that Defiler. The Defiler dealing so much splash damage here against those science vessels. A really great game. And now we transition into Artosis. So let's just see the upgrades for the Artosis. 4-1. A very tanky unit. So much splash damage here. Great counter of course if you combine it with those Defilers. With the Dark Swarm, Flash has to actually move out here. Move back, retreat, and wait for his reinforcements. Then comes the Irradiance on this Artosis, but Artosis will also damage the allied units with that Irradiance. There's a nice point here up with those Marines. He's dealing damage from the higher ground. More and more reinforcements are coming in for Flash. Flash is transitioning into Firebats. Plus Firebats, very good counter against Artosis. Not only against Artosis but also against Zerglings of course. as they deal so much splash damage and are a little bit more tankier than Marines. Engineering base spots this base here by JAEDONG, so JAEDONG also mining from this spot. He is moving out now with Artosis in the front. There is a Defiler. Defiler immediately gets irradiated. Slowly but steadily JAEDONG is moving out on the map. More and more Dark Swarms are coming out. Flash is in a little bit of trouble, as he needs to wait until this Dark Swarm expires. Still JAEDONG just sends more and more Ultra-Risk on the map. There's so much plague here. This Ultra-Risk will do so much damage, but in the end those medics are keeping the Marines and the Fire Bats alive. And of course tanks are much needed now against those Ultra-Risk. 160 supply versus 151. Still, however, JAEDONG perhaps with a smaller economic damage, as he's mining from more bases here than Flash. Especially at the late game, every base counts so much here for the player. Look at that, it's just mass Zerglings, Ultra-Risk and Lurkers of course against that bio. Flash of course trying to deal as much damage here with that Irradiance. Just look at that. But those Ultra-Risk are so tanky. Flash holds his position here, protects his tank. Perhaps we're going to see a move out soon for him. So much damage being dealt against this Ultra-Risk. Remember, this is just mana. No cast here for him. He's going to stim in here, goes for the channel, goes for the hatchery, but he is very likely going to be taken out here by the Zerg force. A nice try here by Flash, but it's been of course denied immediately here by JAEDONG. Once again he's moving out on the map, on the middle of the map. JAEDONG a little bit caught off guard here. His Scourge might get the connection here against the Science Vessel. A little bit of sloppy game here by Flash, forgetting his Science Vessel in the front. He's sieging up, he really wants to go through this position here. JAEDONG is throwing every single hit. There's a nice guarding shield here on this tank. So much damage here being dealt here by the Terran, as he has 20 supply more here now, and he decides to push more and more, so he really wants to get rid of this position here, as there's so many drones here mining from this position. So Flash is going indeed for the 7 o'clock position from JAEDONG. JAEDONG brings his reinforcements here, only 2 Ultra-Risks somewhere, because I don't know if he's going to hold this. There's some Defilers being needed, but that Defiler of course is being irradiated immediately. Great Dark Swarm once again. He might hold this position, but there are some medics here with Marines killing so many drones here against JAEDONG. JAEDONG in a little bit of trouble here. He might lose the space. This would be very good for Flash. He has to pull back as those tanks are here immediately being plagued. Of course, Flash loses one Science Vessel, but he gets rid of this important base. At the same time he's moving in with another force against this expansion here for JAEDONG. And look at that, he's even more at 50 supply now up against Flash, but worker wise they're really balanced, 57 versus 52. So still I have no idea who is going to actually win this game. Of course, like I told you at the beginning of the game, great stuff by both players here, as almost all of the map is being mined now. Only this position and this position that has been denied are not mining. Things have currently settled down as JAEDONG is moving out around the map, just perhaps going to try to kill this huge force here by Flash. Is he going to be successful? Let's just see what's going to happen. There is no Defiler of course, so let's just see one Ultra-Risk immediately get taken down. There are reinforcements coming here from the upper wall from Flash. Defiler once again is using the Dark Swarm. Another great Dark Swarm, so many Dark Swarms here, and JAEDONG is going to bust through. He's going to kill so many tanks here for Flash. Flash got a little bit of guard, so he has to retreat of course now with his main force. JAEDONG might take this position back. Flash is moving once again out on this map, but with that what's it called, the Nidus channel of course, Nidus Worm. JAEDONG much more mobile here than his Terran opponent. Look at that plague on those Science Vessel. Once again Dark Swarm being used here. Flash has to micro out of this. His Marines are dealing so much damage, but he has to micro out of the Dark Swarm. Ultra-Risk in the front dealing so much splash damage here against Flash. He might lose, of course, all of his altars, but the damage has been done. He can hold this position, he can hold his base, and at the same time can expand here. So a wise move here by JAEDONG with this Nidus Worm. Very good for him, very mobile. And remember, Flash still has this force kind of trapped here, not dealing any damage here. He might need a transport out of here. And just have a look at the upgrades, only 0-2 here for Flash. And his Marines at 3-3, of course. 2-2 for the Zerglings, 4-2 for JAEDONG. Another Irradian, of course, going out. Zerglings are going through that Dark Zone once again. Great usage by Dark Zone. So much value here for JAEDONG with that Dark Zone. As Flash once again has to micro out of it. Really annoying for him, but that's exactly how you should play as a Zerg versus a Terran. Once again, the Zerg is using a Dark Zone to his advantage. Flash tries to micro out, tries to do everything he can, but in the end he's getting a little bit surrounded here by JAEDONG with his forces. More reinforcements are coming in here for JAEDONG. Their economy look great at both. But yeah, let's just see the follow-up. Look at that, Flash already killing so many units, JAEDONG dropping below 100 supply. At the same time he does a great drop here, denying this expansion here. Sorry that I missed that one, guys. Pulls his units out of here. Even moves this tank a little bit closer, denying some mining time here for JAEDONG. Let's just have a look at this gameplay here. Flash, of course, is known to irradiate his own science vessel. He might get so many kills here against his drone, but no, JAEDONG prepared for that and kills those science vessels with that Scourge. Really great gameplay here by both players actually, but JAEDONG is of course ready and kills those science vessels immediately just to keep his economy up and going. Nice gameplay here by both once again. Flash is trying to regroup here at the middle of the map. He did deny this expansion, of course, but it's being greatly rebuilt. At the same time, Flash has expanded here at this position. Still a strong economy by both players. There are no more lurkers here on the map. I only see Ultralisk with Zerglings. The fighters, of course, with Dark Zone are also on the map. This might get off guard. He might get a surround here, and so many tanks are in trouble now. The reinforcements are pulling in here for Flash. There's even an SCV here in the front. This might be the general of this army right here. What's he going to do? He's building an expansion actually, so Flash really wants to take this position here. Feels very confident. He might even take this position here, but there are so many reinforcements here coming in for JAEDONG. Dark Zone once again. The Ultras and Zerglings are hiding it. He is going to take out a small group of Marines. But there's so many siege tanks here on the map. JAEDONG in a little bit of trouble. The Great Plague once again used, and there's so much splash damage now coming out of this Ultralisk. Still a back and forward game here by both players. More and more reinforcements are pouring in for Flash, but the same can be said for JAEDONG as he's using his Nidus Worm. In comes the force with those Zerglings Defiler once again being used, so we see a countless loop here by JAEDONG with those Defilers, with those Zerglings, with those Ultralisk. He's going to try to bust here through. He is able to push Flash actually back here. What a great gameplay here by him, showing us the value of those Defilers once again. And Ultralisk with Zerglings, so no more lurkers here for him, just Ultralisk and Zerglings. And of course Defilers, the much needed Defilers for JAEDONG. A great counter against Defilers are of course Science Vessel with Irradiate. But then again JAEDONG is always prepared against that with Scourge. Flash is moving here with a consistent army against this position, but JAEDONG once again ready. No Defiler here, just mass Zerglings and Ultralisk. Let's just see what's going to happen here. He should be able to push Flash back, of course. As we close up at the 30-minute mark. What a great game here by both players. I still don't know who's going to win it. There is a small advantage here supply-wise for Flash. JAEDONG dropping very low. He even lost this main, of course. Flash did build a command center here, but this has been taken out. So let's just see what's going to happen here. tanks are of course being plagued. They are very low, they could be easily taken out here. More reinforcements are coming in for Flash, same can be said for JAEDONG. JAEDONG once again on the move, needs to wait for his defilers for the Dark Swarm. He's going to swarm those tanks immediately. Flash once again has to micro out. JAEDONG is hiding and waiting. This small group might get taken out. There's still this tank on the high ground. And we even had a drop here with Marines denying so much mining time here. He even might kill the drone or two, as JAEDONG is at only 40 drones against 55. So much things happening here. I might lose a couple of drops here. I might not watch them, so sorry about that one, guys. Flash in a little bit of advantage here, if you ask me, but at the same time JAEDONG might have also a good position with those defilers. Flash now sieging up here, just wants to secure his position. Dark Swarm here to get rid of those Marines, of course. SCVs have to retreat here, as JAEDONG did deny this base here for Flash. So where exactly are they mining? They're still mining from this position. This position is still being held, of course, but after so many drones have been killed, this position has not been touched. And this one is also mining once again, with protected by Artosis. So Flash decides to move out here on the map with his command center, as he feels confident that this his main base is, of course. Here we can see a huge move out here by JAEDONG at the middle of the map. He might kill an SCV or two. Here we go. So much splash damage here out of those tanks, but JAEDONG decides to go for those SCVs and for the reinforcements. More and more SCVs are being transferred right now. Marines will be surrounded here by this ball, but in the end he is able to hold on. Look at the tankiness of the Artosis, dealing so much damage here. A really funny situation, of course, here, as well as JAEDONG decides to long distance mine here this base, so every mineral counts right now in the end of the game. As we're approaching the end, I still don't know who's going to win. Dark Swarm once again being used here. Flash wants to move through. Flash wants to kill his base, but there's the fire play out of JAEDONG is outstanding once again. Flash needs to pull back his units, microing them out a little bit out of that Dark Swarm, of course. At the same time, he has to kill those long distance mining drone. Another defiler with a Dark Swarm is going to be able to kill those tanks here, still hiding in that dark cloud. But his expansion is still up, and those drones are still mining from here and here. As Flash is not mining from this position, his only position from which he's mining is this one. So JAEDONG only practically a 3 base versus a 1 base Terran. Tries to do a drop here, but with those defilers, JAEDONG is actually moving out, even doing a plague here against those Marines. So much splash damage now being dead. There's 3 tanks here. JAEDONG still has that Artosis. Flash is moving out. This might be his last force here. Let's just see the follow-up. There's just one Artosis here. Flash is sieging up. JAEDONG once again with a defiler has to protect here his expansion. He is going for those Marines. Those 3 tanks are in the back, dealing so much splash damage, of course, but at the same time Flash not really being able to push here through. Let's see the follow-up here. A small group of Marines are trying to deny this base here for JAEDONG, but JAEDONG, of course, is going to push this back and use that Night Swarm once again. So much mobility here, more for JAEDONG, as he's being able to kill even those tanks, and the follow-up is going to be once again with Artosis and with Zerg, and look at that. GG, Flash actually has to GG out, of course, because JAEDONG had more bases than him. So what a crazy game indeed here. I really thought that Flash would win this game, but in the end the economy was way too strong, and even this group here of SCVs have been denied here by JAEDONG with this Zergling. So much action going on, guys. I missed probably a lot of stuff, but there's no way for an observer to see all the things that are happening, as this pro gamers just show us that they can actually fight on many battlegrounds here. They can use a small group of Zerglings here. At the same time, they can deny a drop here, so you really have to be fast in StarCraft. Such a great game, and I'm really happy here for JAEDONG as he beats Flash, of course. At one point I thought once again that Flash is going to win, but no. JAEDONG showing us the value of Dark Swarm with those Defilers. Very, very good unit, and Plague, of course. So I hope you guys enjoyed a very, very long game here by these two legends. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Tommy signing out.